All right, we are live. Let's try to wait just a second. Okay. No viewers currently. Alrighty, so we are live. For everybody who will be tuning in and everybody who might tune in after the fact, happy Halloween, everybody. It's my favorite day of the year, minus it's my favorite day of the year, minus like my anniversary and such. But love Halloween, so figured I would go ahead and rank the entire Halloween franchise, all 12 films from least to greatest. And yeah, to help me do that, I have my good buddy Chris Brock. Add you.
Hello,
What?
everybody. Sorry to intervene. I just want to say that this is my favorite day outside of mine and Jordan's anniversary. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
Happy Halloween,
yeah.
everybody.
So I didn't know, like when you put somebody out, I didn't know if you could actually hear me in
Yeah.
the okay, that's cool. I didn't know that. It's a good thing I wasn't like, yeah, I got this fucking guy Chris in here, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, it's my favorite day out of the year. Halloween has always been such a special time to me. From being a child growing into an adult, I still love the day. It's my favorite holiday. And I thought, we ranked the Friday the 13th movies on Friday the 13th. So let's go ahead and rank all the Halloween films. Halloween Kills newly released as of like, what's it been, 2 weeks ago now?
hmm
So that one's pretty fresh in my mind, and it's hopped the franchise itself up vastly. That's all you see on YouTube is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. So it being my favorite horror franchise, I think it is yours as well. We'll go
hmm
ahead and rank all of these films. First, I just want to say we have one viewer currently, but to anybody who might watch after the fact, happy Halloween. Hopefully,
Yep.
everyone
Happy
is
Halloween.
having and has had a safe Halloween. But yeah, how's your Halloween been so far, man?
Well, it's been pretty good, actually. Can't really complain. One thing I want to say, not to get too off topic, but I just saying I got a comment on my own Halloween ranking video I did a few days ago,
Uh huh.
saying that dislike your list sucks. Okay, one thing I want to say: this is not the end all be all list. There's
No.
absolutely no way that me and Jordan can have the same opinion as you. I mean, it's possible, but just because we don't,
Yep.
like that doesn't make anything good or bad. This is just our reasonings why we put these, in the spots that we do, and we'd love to hear your list. That's the whole point of the video. It's exactly what I said in the other one that I made, but you're always gonna have people
People,
saying, "Oh, your list sucks." You don't have the same opinion as me, but come
yeah, you
on.
always have trolls on YouTube, people who
Mm-hmm.
can't respect other people's opinion, and that's
Yeah, we're here to talk about the
completely,
movies.
yeah, that's what this is in general is. I mean, it's strictly opinionated. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, love the franchise, love the
There's
season.
no wrong or right list.
No,
There's
no,
only your list.
not for anything in the world. Everything's just is
Mm-hmm.
opinionated depending on what you like and what you want to see in a film, especially. So, like, yeah, it's crazy that Halloween's already here and that this month is just kind of zoomed by, which is
Mm-hmm.
insane. There's a lot I wanted to do that I wasn't able to do this October, but that we'll leave that for next October. But still, watched a lot of good horror movies lately. Me and you have watched some good horror movies together. Last
Mm-hmm.
night we watched Halloween 2,
Halloween too.
which we'll talk about shortly. So, what have you been watching lately outside of that? Maybe something that we haven't seen with
I'm
each
trying to
other.
think. Trying to think what I've watched. Obviously, a bunch of Halloween movies. Obviously Halloween Kills, but that's something that me and you both watched together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know if I've really watched too much. It'll probably come to me later on in the stream, but as of
Yeah,
now, I can't think of anything. Just watching the usual stuff, the Halloween movies. Well, the Chucky series, which I guess me and
yeah,
you did
that was
technically watch
that,
that as well.
that was pretty
Well,
interesting.
I watched the first episode of Day of the Dead, kind
Oh
of here and
God,
there, so it was
uh,
okay. It's kind of fun and silly for what it was, but other than that, not been watching too much.
Hope Golf says y'all are awesome. Thank you,
Thank
Hope
you.
Golf. You're a reoccurring commenter, and I don't know who you are, but no, thank you for that. You are awesome. Yeah, dude, I enjoyed Chucky. I've not the new Chucky series. I have no real interest to see the Day of the Dead series. So I don't know if I'll watch it or not. But I might watch it one day. But I haven't got to watch as much as I did last October. Last October is a horror movie every single day, and I've not done that this year. I think I watched probably at least. It was a horror movie every single day, and then some days it was 3 to 4, like when we did our 500 seconds until cheese. Logan says 500 seconds until cheese. So like, but when we did our video last year, it was actually today, and then was yesterday as well when we did our little movie madness video. We watched a bunch of horror movies then. But yeah, it's a fun time and fun time of the year for sure. So without further ado, I guess we're already 5 minutes in. We're going to try to make this this live stream not extremely fast, but a little snappy. So we will go ahead and go into it. So your number 12, Chris, I'll leave that to you. We're going from least to greatest.
All right. My number 12 is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I don't know really what to say about this movie. I don't want to crap on it too hard. I know a lot of people have it's gained a cult following, and a lot of people love this movie. It's in their top 5, top 3. For me, I've always disliked this movie. It's not one of my favorites. Watched it, I don't know how many years ago, a year or 2 years ago with you for your little video, and I've never been more bored in my life watching the movie. It just feels nothing like a Halloween movie. The White Horse stuff, Michael talking, the mask, just all of it, I just highly dislike. No, you're supposed to go into it like it's not a Halloween movie, but that defeats the purpose of it being a Halloween movie. At least with Halloween 3, it has nothing to do with Michael. This has Michael in it, and it's so bizarre and so out there that I just couldn't get into it. But I want to see what other people are seeing, but I personally just don't like this one very much at all. So that's putting it lightly. So that's my number 12.
My number 12 is also Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's remake. This is the worst out of the franchise, hands down to me, and I'll do the same thing. I don't really want to crap on the movie too much, although there's an affinity for this film that I don't quite understand that everyone has. But I'm like you, I want to see it. I don't. I mean, I respect it, but I don't agree with it. The acting isn't terrible in this, but I mean, they do what they're given, which with the script that they're given, it being a Rob Zombie script, it's just a lot of vulgar stuff, a lot of vulgar dialogue in this one. The ambulance driver scene, and that just kind of kicks it off, and it just doesn't feel like Halloween. It's a very bleak movie, which I guess is what he was going for, but the coloring, like the color scheme, nothing about this movie screams Halloween.
Yeah. Not too appealing.
It's all over the place, man. The material, the script. Brad Dourif's great in it. Danielle Harris, it's good to see her get some screen time in in another Halloween film. But what happens to her, I didn't really like either. Scout Taylor Compton, I don't mind her as an actress. I don't think she's bad. I also don't think that she's the perfect Laurie Strode. I mean, I don't, especially in this one. She comes off very screamish in this. That's all she does is scream and yell and shout, and it's just, there's a lot of rage in this one. And speaking of rage, Michael Myers is at his most brutal in this. It's bearded mountain man Michael Myers, where you see half of his face throughout the duration of the movie. Michael speaks. Loomis's values are completely tarnished in this. I hate that. Like, and I love Malcolm McDowell, so it sucks for me to have to say that. But Loomis is really, really shit on in this movie. The character itself. Let's see. I have a few notes. I'm trying to keep it all consistent, but the one thing I did want to mention before we go on to the next movie, it's from the White Horse with Sherry Moon, who has to be in like every single Rob Zombie movie for whatever reason. Like, there's no purpose to bring her back after the remake. I don't know why that, but anyway. So from the White Horse to, like I said, Mountain Man Myers, to the dirty jokes that really just don't stick or hit, all the way to the weird kind of ending where Michael actually fucking speaks. It's just not a good. It's not a good film, and it's not a good Halloween film, in my opinion. That's my number 12. Yeah, it's disappointing, Hope Golf. I don't think you would like it very much. So, yeah, my number 12 Moving on to number 11, Chris, I will leave
All right.
that up to you as well.
All right. So no surprise here. I wasn't a big fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Next one is going to be his remake from 2007, Rob Zombie's Halloween. So I respect that this is nothing like the original film, but I love the original film. I love the series, most of the series, because it has some quality about it that just simply is not in this movie. It's the complete opposite of what Halloween should be. And again, I respect that he made something completely different. But the thing is, I want new ideas, but I don't want everybody fundamentally to be so different and so just. The people in the movie are not good. I can see why Michael kills them. I don't really want that in a Halloween movie. I want likable characters. I want to root for people. I want to be like, oh man, I don't want Michael to win. In this movie, I don't care who lives or dies. I really don't. Everybody's so unlikable. Rob Zombie's like writing for like characters, like dialogue, I think is atrocious, especially in a Halloween movie. I just think overall the feel, it does feel like a Rob Zombie movie, but that's just not what I want in a Halloween movie. I get it, it's his own vision, his own movie. I do respect that, but it's just simply not for me. It takes all the mystique away from Myers, give him a backstory that's so generic. He could be any serial killer with this background. It doesn't feel like Michael. He's
No,
7
it
foot
does.
tall, just so much unnecessary things. But if I ever do want something that's completely different from the original, I would pop this in. But I love the series, and I love the way that it feels. That this one feels nothing like it, so I just don't watch this one as much. I just really don't like it too much, to put it nicely. It's not one of my favorites. If this is one you see before, like the original or a few other ones, I can see, this is your interpretation of Michael. But for me, it is not the character of Michael, in my opinion. So,
Yep.
Rob Zombie's Halloween.
All right. My number 11 is Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007. Now, this film was my very first theatrical Halloween experience. I was 10 years old, and I go into the theater, and I don't want to be vulgar for our younger viewers, but I will repeat the line that I heard. The very first thing that I heard, we were a few minutes late into the movie. Going in, I hear the very first thing that I hear in a Halloween movie. I grew up on this franchise ever since I was a kid. I'm 10 years old now. I'm not 10 years old now. I was 10 years old at the
Yeah,
time.
10 years then.
No, I'll actually answer that. We didn't. If you stay around, you'll see we don't know each other's list.
Oh, no.
But if you stay around, you'll actually see that. No, we didn't copy each other. We both have hated these movies for like several years. But so, very first theatrical experience, and I hear about how they're going to have to pump the cum out of Michael's mom's stomach. Okay, so that's the first thing I hear in a Halloween movie. It's pretty bad. It set me up for a ride that I really didn't want to endure. And even at 10 years old, when I got home, I knew this was not Halloween, not my Halloween anyway. You give Michael a cliche background, like you stated, and he's abusive, unstable home life. He's going to turn out to be a serial killer. This is the reasoning behind it. This is textbook. This is every single serial killer, most every single serial killer in real life. It's cool if you want to look at that, but I look at the original 78 film, motiveless Michael Myers, motiveless The Shape. Now, that changes throughout the duration of the series itself into the sequels, and we'll talk about that. But I prefer that. I want to see this kid in this suburban neighborhood who randomly snaps one day and kills his sister, Judith Myers. Why did he do it? Nobody really knows. He is The Shape. He is the boogeyman, and this is just all ripped away. He's just this unhinged, unstable kid, and I just can't get into it. Let's see. I was Butch. I don't know what you mean, Bowie, but let's see where I'm at here. So Scout Taylor is a little bit more tame in this one compared to how she is in 2, and I don't mind that. I actually like her better in this one than I do in part 2, but that's not saying too much.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing certain cameos and characters in the movie. Rob Zombie's
Yeah.
good, but shit like that, he puts the same type of people in his movies, and most of them I like Kim Free.
Yeah.
You've got people like that. You've got Danny Trejo in the film as well. I think Bill Moseley's actually in it as a guard at one point too in one of the cuts, as well as what's her fucking name, dude? Don't know why I can't think of it. The Howling.
Dee Wallace? Who?
Dee Wallace, yeah, Dee Wallace is in as well, and she actually has one of the saddest deaths in my opinion too. Like, it's brutal, but unnecessarily brutal at the same time. Let's see. I was Michael Myers for Halloween. That's what I tried to say. Yeah. Your mommy
Oh,
sent me the
nice.
pictures of that. He was a. I'll have to show you guys. He was really cool. Michael Myers. Something just tapping
Awesome.
behind me. So anyway, the only true enjoyment that I really get from this movie is, well, hold on a second. The only true enjoyment that I really get from this movie is the dinner table scene with Ronnie, William Forsythe, and that's not even like that, dude. That's not even that. You shouldn't want that in a Halloween movie.
No.
That's in the first 10 minutes. That's the only part that I like about it, so I can laugh at it. And it's so dirty. It's so wrong.
Mhm.
I can't get these fucking bugs away from me, dude. Middle of the fucking end of the fucking fall, and you got bugs flying around you, dude. Die out, bugs. Die out. Rob Zombie can shoot a film. His writing is just really, really one stop, one trick. He can't really go anywhere else. It's one story repeated over and over with different characters. And to me, I just can't get behind it. Rob Zombie's Halloween. It's got to come in at number 11. That's just how it is for me. So going at number 10, that's your turn now.
All right. So my number 10, and I know for a lot of people this is like dead last. This is the bottom of the franchise, scraping the barrel. But for me, I can laugh at this movie. It's not good by any means. It turns Michael into a joke. Halloween Resurrection. Got Busta Rhymes in here. Jamie Lee Curtis comes back for like 5-10 minutes, if that. It really didn't need to even be made because of H2O's ending. But at least with this one, I can laugh with it because I know it's a bad movie. These right here are technically not bad movies. Well, maybe Halloween 2 is. I don't think this one's like a bad movie. It's just the way that they took the movie and the direction. I don't like it. This one's a bad movie, but it's one I can laugh at, find enjoyment out of. It's very entertaining in my opinion. And, but there is a few good things in here, actually. I like the beginning quite a bit. I like, the clown, Michael Myers, whenever he gets handed the knife. Does his little backstory. I like the score to this movie. Michael looks okay and is portrayed okay in this movie. But the whole plot after he kills, Laurie Strode, it's just where do you go from here? And it feels like that typical, early 2000s, found footage, reality show type thing. And it just doesn't work well in a Halloween movie, in my opinion. But I do kind of like some parts of it. It's so bad that it's good to me in a way, but it's still number 10. So Halloween Resurrection.
Okay, this is gonna make Hope think that we did copy each other's list, but we did not.
Gosh. Yeah.
This is number 10, and it's Halloween Resurrection from 2002. This was the last of the original Halloween films until we got the remakes, and I can see why. It's a bad Halloween movie. I mean, it could have been a well enough made slasher with its premise, the Dangertainment thing. That's not a bad idea. Taking, a camera crew inside of a serial killer's home. It's not a bad idea, but it almost feels like it was a script made for a completely different movie. And they were just like, fuck it, let's put Michael Myers in there.
Yeah, throw him in there.
To me, that's how it feels. It feels completely unfinished and just kind of washed out. It's not. A lot of people love the opening with Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't even like the fucking opening. I just don't. I think having her killed off in the way that she is killed off in that opening is very, very demeaning to the character up until that point. We've had 3 films with her as this backstory, 1, 2, H2O Resurrection. Having her killed off the way that she was, I just didn't like it. Michael does go home after this one, or after the opening, and we see what happens there. Let's see here. We follow a cast of characters that I just didn't really enjoy any of them. I really didn't. I didn't care if they lived. I didn't care if they died. I didn't have an attachment, so to speak, with any of the characters. The lead was just really, really bad. I didn't like her acting. They had to impose her screams. I think they had to put screams over top of hers because she couldn't scream, from what I've heard. And so, like, I've heard that they had to just dub screams over her, which, if that is true, that's insane. Let's see here. I don't know. It's crazy that Rick Rosenthal directed this film. He created one of my favorite horror sequels of all time, and then one of the most hated horror sequels of all time, which is absolutely insane. Um, Structurally, it's not a terrible movie. Even movie making wise, Rick Rosenthal can craft a film, so it doesn't look bad. Parts of it does look cheap. I ain't gonna lie, but just everything, man, right down to the. I don't like the mask in the movie, and I wasn't even gonna mention this because I was like, everybody fucking mentions this in their rankings or reviews. What the fuck is up with Buster Rhymes and this dude? Like, I don't get the. I just don't get it, man. I don't
He's
understand.
awesome,
Like,
dude.
he fucking punks Michael Myers out
Yeah.
before the karate shit happens. He punks him out. He's like, go to the, he's telling him he's got the mask
Yeah.
on. Like,
It's so
Michael
dumb, man.
Michael just turns around and walks away. Trick or treat, motherfucker. I don't know, dude.
Chicken fried, mother.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if I have any other notes on it. I don't really think so. It's. At its best, it's fun for laugh. Halloween Resurrection, I would not recommend it. I might watch it tonight just because I'm in like the mood to laugh at something really bad. But this is terrible. It's a piece of shit. So
I want to say one thing before we move off this. Whenever I said I like the opening, I didn't mean like Laurie Strode getting killed off. I like some aspects of it with Michael, dropping down like he did in H2O, killing those guys, and then I like the the clown stuff. I think it's really stupid that they killed Laurie off. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, the only part like you mentioned about the opening that I liked was the clown dude talking about the serial killers. That's the only part that I really liked. Dropping down was cool. The kills to the security guards weren't bad or nothing like that. I'm sorry I keep itching my nose. I don't know if a bug went up it or it's tempting to, but it's fucking, dude. It's itching so bad. Okay. Anyway, Halloween Resurrection number 10. It's bad. Now, with every movie that we just talked about, if you want to skip watching any of these, you can. You don't have to watch them. Because not only is this a ranking, but this is a recommendation as well. So I'm recommending that you skip Rob Zombies for sure. So, well, what is it, dude?
That's the way you said that. It's just funny. I recommend you not to check those movies out. All right, so number 9, right?
We're on number 9, yep.
All right, so I did this in my last one, and I hate to do this again. It's just right now, if I had to, had to rank them, I would probably put this one at this spot. That is Halloween 5. I do like this movie. It's a flawed movie, but if I really just looked at the franchise right now, I'd put it this spot because I don't really have the need to watch it at the moment. I don't feel the need to, hey, let's put in Halloween 5. So I don't think it's a completely awful movie because it does have Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis, which is always a plus. You get Jamie Lloyd, Danielle Harris. Hated how they killed Rachel off. The mask is really bad. And it just feels like the director, Dominique Othen-Girard, or whatever his name was, just so jumbled. I feel like he didn't know what he was doing. And they added the Man in Black halfway through filming. So a lot of this was very rushed because of the success from Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. They just needed to get something out. There's some really good moments in it. But overall, if I'm ranking them today, I have to put it number 9. I don't hate this movie. I think it's an okay movie. Not a bad Halloween movie. This is better than the ones that I previously mentioned by a good mile, in my opinion.
Okay, so this is where the list varies for the first time, so we didn't copy our list completely. I actually would put, let's see, I almost screwed up there because I don't have the case to it. All right, my number 9 is Halloween Kills from 2021, director David Gordon Green. So I've seen this film twice, and I've thought about this one a lot. And I won't talk about the movie too much. If you want to watch my full thoughts on the movie, we did a live stream not long ago about the movie where we discussed it. We went into detail. It was about 2 hours long. So if you want to watch that, feel free to go watch that. This film, to me, is Carnage Candy. It's in a more fashionable way, in a more fashionable way than Rob Zombie's movies. It depicts Michael to be very, very brutal. It's more classy brutality, I guess, if you can get classy with brutality. The film structurally is a disaster. The dialogue is a mess. The acting is a mess. Not all across the board. There's moments of realness between some of the actors and moments of dialogue that actually stick and they work. But 99% of the time, it doesn't for me at all. Let's see. So we get shit like Evil Dies Tonight about 1 billion times over and over, and I can't stand that. I'm tired of hearing. I've heard that line so much, not even just in the movie, but from everybody talking about Evil Dies Tonight. It's terrible. It's very, very bad. It's got weird editing cuts that make no sense, like we talked about and discussed that. Michael is great in the movie, and that's one thing that I think is a pro about it. James Hugh Courtney feels like Kane Hodder to me in a way that he actually respects the character of the Shape, and he takes that role completely seriously. He is one of my favorite Michael Myers actors in the whole franchise, which is sad that I don't love the movies that he's in more. I wish he could have been in something better than both of those movies. Let's see. I went into this movie with mild expectations, so I knew what I was going to get. So I wasn't sincerely let down like I was with 2018 on my first viewing of that. Sadly, Evil does die tonight, and that's why it has to be at number 9. So that's Halloween Kills for me. All right. Now we're at number 8. No, yeah, we're at number
8. Okay, so we're at number 8.
Cops are coming to get you, Chris.
Oh, God. I gotta go.
Fuck out of Dodge, son.
All right, so my number 8 is going to be Halloween 2018. This one and my next one can be interchangeable. I feel like they're kind of like in the middle. You know what I mean? I felt the same way with like Halloween 5. It's kind of in the middle. The remake, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and Resurrection, they're at the bottom. This is where we're kind of getting into like the decent ones. 2018, when I first watched it, I think you even had some of the same criticisms as I did, and heard some of the things that I heard about how everybody said it was the best Halloween movie since the original, and people even said it's better than the original. So there was so much hype for this movie that whenever I watched it, I was extremely let down because I just didn't like some of the aspects, like the opening. I still don't really like it all that much, with the mask being, the root of, Myers' power. I don't think that's not how he got his powers, because he killed his sister Judith with a clown mask, like that was nowhere to be found. Like the William Shatner mask was nowhere to be found whenever he just snapped. So to me, it doesn't really make much sense, because if that was to have a power, you'd feel like it would have been throughout the years. It wouldn't just be that one night that he wore it to kill, 3 people in 1978. So that's a big issue I had. The Dr. Sartain character, I just don't like. I feel like that's kind of cliche. They pretty much added a bad Loomis. I didn't like the line where Laurie's like, "Oh, so you're the new Loomis." It felt like he just kind of swept under the rug a little bit. I don't know. But other than that, I have grown to kind of like the movie a little bit more. It does have some pretty good suspense. The score is absolutely awesome. And like you said, I love James Hugh Courtney as Myers. He's definitely one of my favorites as well. He does, I can tell he respects the character by the way that he does such a good job portraying the part, and I really like that aspect about it. So I hope that the Halloween Ends maybe redeems these 2 movies for me. Again, I don't think that they're bad. It's just they're in the middle for me. So just overall, Halloween 2018 for me is number 8. It's enjoyable. I have some problems with it, but I'll probably recommend it. I think it's a decent little flick.
Yeah, so Halloween 2018 is my number 8. So I'll go ahead and dive into this and talk about it a little bit. I rewatched this one a few days ago, and after rewatching it, I knew for beyond a shadow of a doubt that I enjoyed it better than Kills. And that's just as of now. My opinion could change over time. So I'm not saying that it won't or it will, but as of now, I prefer it a little bit better. It's paced and it's structured a lot better than Kills. It's got brutality, but at the same time, it's got the same suspense that we admire in The Shape. There's a lot of scenes like Michael walking in the neighborhood, like, just aimlessly killing random people. I like that one-shot take, walking around, going into the house, doing all that. That's very, very good shot. It tries to capitalize on a lot of suspense that the original did. It tries to mirror it in ways, and sometimes it does. Sometimes it feels really, really bad. Things I hated was, without a shadow of a doubt, something you've already mentioned, Sartain. I did not like that. I fucking hated when that little dude put his mask on when he stood up and looked like that was just it was uncalled for. I got his fascination with Michael, and I got they wanted to try to let's twist it so we don't have another Loomis. Let's make Sartain this this crazy dude. And then when he thinks he kills for the first time, so that's what that feels like. That's like, dude, fuck, it's I don't know. I couldn't stand that. Another thing that I really didn't like was the reporters and their complete path to making this mask some sort of like a power link to Michael, and they further that with kills where it's almost like when he doesn't have it, it's not like he's powerless, but I've thought about this. He was locked up, captive for all these years, and then he gets the mask back, and now he's some sort of supernatural thing. It's just weird. I don't like the way they're going with the mask. If anything, it should have been the clown mask from '78, and I knew they weren't going to do that because it's not iconic. It's this mask. That's what's iconic to everybody. So that's why they did that. Let's see. I don't relish in that fact, and I really don't relish in. I love the mask to death. I don't think it should be a focal point for the story. I think when you got to make a mask like this presence of a plot device, it's just weird. I don't know. It's weird, and it's a lot different. It starts here and it gets worse in kills, in my opinion. There's the film, it suffers, and one thing I want to touch on before I move on, the film suffers a lot from what Halloween Kills doubled on, and that is when you see a scene, you absolutely know for a fact which scene was written by Danny McBride. From the little boy that is in the car who wants to dance, to the peanut butter on my penis, to the cops that are babbling back and forth, to the little boy it's like, I'm clipping my nasty ass tone. Like, that's Danny McBride. I don't want to watch a movie and have my brain automatically go, yep, he wrote that scene. Like, it's not how, it's just weird. It's just not, it's not good. It doesn't hit. It doesn't land. And another thing it really suffers from, to me, where it could have been utilized in this film more than ever, is the brother and sister angle. It would have made more sense honestly, to me, it made more sense as to why Laurie is the way that she is in this movie. So it's not a terrible movie, like you said. It delivers on suspense. It delivers on some of the kills. James Jude Courtney. I love Will Patton in the film too. I think he's good. When he got stabbed, I was like, dude, okay.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, what the fuck? I also prefer the ending to this one as opposed to the ending in Kills. Now, what I mean by that is I don't think some of the scenes work with, like, Happy Halloween, Michael, Out of the Darkness, or falling off the banister to have the da-da, and then have him look over and see that she's gone. I don't think that was very, very unnecessary. But him engulfed in flames and the gotcha and all that, when they push him, I think that it was better than the kills ending, personally. Let's see if I have any final notes on this one. I don't think that I do. It has a lot of issues, for sure. The placement, some of the placement's a little bit out, but also, I mean, the editing was way better in this one as well. I don't know. I enjoy it. I don't love it. Will I watch it again? Yeah, I'll probably watch it next Halloween. But it's I wouldn't completely stay away from it. I would say definitely watch it. Create your own opinion on it. Also, keep it in your head that this is not a part of the original timeline. There's some people I've talked to who think that this is a sequel to everything that they've seen. It's not. Most people watching my channel will know that, but I'm just saying, it's not a part of the original timeline, so don't go in confused. I would highly recommend you watch the original. If you're going to watch it in that way, watch the original, watch this, and watch Kills. Don't watch Kills before you watch this. I know people who have, and they don't know what's going on. So, yeah, Halloween 2018, number 8. Not bad, not great, just kind of in the middle. So, move on to number 7.
All right, so my number 7 is going to be Halloween Kills. Watched this a couple different times, and I enjoyed it because I didn't go into it expecting a whole lot. And I will admit that Halloween 2018, it's kind of like a straight line. It's very consistent. Halloween Kills is very up and down, but it's enough for me. Like, has some really, really cool moments that I really enjoy. And it's a brutal Michael, but it isn't overly brutal. It's not Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 Michael. And not really a knock on that movie, because that's kind of a cool factor of that movie, is that it is very violent. But this one does it in a way where it's not, I'm going to stab you and spit on you. I want to kill you very brutally. And then, and that's it. It's not overly brutal, I guess. It's like I mentioned 5 seconds ago. there is a lot of problems with it, though. You know, the ending is very, very badly edited. The pacing. I feel like you could either do two things: cut a lot out of this movie, or add a lot into it. You know what I mean? Because there's stuff that doesn't feel like it's fleshed out enough that maybe you could have added more runtime to the movie to make it make sense and have it flow better, but also maybe you could just cut it out. So that's a problem with me. The ending is very weird. I don't even know if, you know, because it's a new movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but I don't know like if certain things actually happen. And you know, obviously that hooks you for the upcoming Halloween movie next year. I think it's next year. Halloween ends, so like you have to watch it after watching this movie. But at the same time, I don't like watching something and being confused. Like, did that really happen?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good, but other times, whenever it is like really badly edited, the writing is really bad in certain areas. It's not a good thing. But I like how wacky it is. The Evil Dies Tonight stuff doesn't bother me as that much, but it is said a lot of times in the movie. My favorite character is probably the bartender. That guy was awesome. I want a movie with him. But Michael was awesome in the movie. Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis. Nobody can complain about the original Halloween 2 because she does the same thing in this movie that she did in that one. So I don't want to hear nobody complaining. Trying to think. It's not like I'm mainly crapping on the movie, but I did enjoy some parts of it. It's like 2018 for me, where I enjoy a good amount of it, but then there's also a lot of stupid stuff. Big John, Little John. I actually like that more than the humor in 2018, but it is very stupid. But to me, I kind of have that sense of humor where something can be really stupid, overly stupid, and it makes me laugh. I don't know why. I just have that sense of humor. I like I got this knife. I got this knife. Big John has the little knife. Little John has the big knife. Thought that was kind of funny, but did it need to be in this movie? Probably not. Same thing with the humor in 2018. I don't know. It's a mixed bag, but as of right now, I like it better in 2018. I think mainly it's because I didn't go into it with super high expectations. Whenever you hear that this movie is better than the original, or on par with the original, that's a very high standard for me. And I was extremely disappointed with 2018. This one, I think's okay. Has some good kills. That's really the main factor and the main appeal for this movie. And I think casual audience will definitely enjoy it. And before I quit talking about it, I want to say this is the problem with Halloween Kills in 2018. I know that they're fans of the franchise, but there's certain scenes in the movie that I feel like they are taking right from certain movies, like the original Halloween and Halloween 2. And that bothers me because I'm okay to have a few references here and there, but don't take entire scenes. You know what I mean? That bothers me because if you're going to be a sequel to the original, why recreate the same scenes? That just bothers me.
I agree.
They're decent flicks. I would, recommend you check them out. Form your own opinion on them. So Halloween Kills is my number 7. Man, I took way too long on that, but
no, man, you're number 7 for me is Halloween 5 from '85. Now, I struggled on a spot for this one. As a kid, I watched this right after Part 4 every single time. Sadly, the older I get, the more that I see the flaws and inconsistencies in this movie. Donald Pleasance is peak crazy in this movie, and that's like one of my favorite parts of the movie. Is just his insanity. He's got to a level where he's done. He's going to kill Michael. He's going to kill the evil. Or it's going to kill him. He's done with everything, and to the point where he's going to put his hands on a small child to do it, to figure out the link and what they. So he is done. I love Donald Pleasance in this one. I also think Danielle Harris really shows her acting chops in this one. For not being able to speak through half of the movie, you can see the pain, the sadness, and the fear on her face when she can't speak. So I actually think she did better acting-wise in this one than she did in 4, but the film around it is the problem. The main problem. You just got dark.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to turn the porch light on.
But, so I love the barn scene. Some of the kills in this are really, really gnarly. Tina is. We're gonna go through some of the things that I dislike real quick while Chris is turning the light on. So things I didn't like. Tina is really unbearable. I want to get that out of the way first because I wanted to talk about Tina. Don't really care for her at all. Can't really stand her character. The directing is horrible. The story is a jumbled mess. So much a jumble mess that they. Let's see. It's so much a mess that they literally left the writers for part 6 in a corner, not knowing what they were going to do, where to go, or how to continue on the story. Let's see. They also they killed Rachel in the first 15 minutes, which is a big flaw to me. The mask is hideous. I don't know, man. The more I talk about it, the more I find flaws with the film. But the problem is nostalgia really won't let me let this one go. But I couldn't see myself placing this anywhere above the next films in the series, so that's why it had to come in at number 7. Halloween 5, I'm still going to pop it in right after 4, so it's not going to be like I'm never going to watch it. It ranked above the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 films. So Halloween 5 from 85, not great. Can't let it go though, man. Cannot let it go. It's like a bad habit, Can't let that shit go. So we're going to wait just a moment on Chris before I move on. I think we're on 6 now. So we're going to give him just a second. And I will entertain 0 viewers that I have right now. It's starting to get cold outside. Making pretty good time, though. 41 minutes and 18 seconds in. Man. I think Charlie Sheen should have been in a Halloween movie. My opinion. Don't mean it's the right one.
All right, I'm back.
All right.
So here it should be popping back on. Sorry about that.
You're good.
Oh, yeah, so blondie.
So my number 7 was Halloween 5. So we're moving on now to number 6. That's right, 6.
Number 6 for me is going to be Halloween H2O. Now, before, this used to be, I think, my number 3 or 4. Third or fourth favorite in the series, but it sadly dropped to number 6 because of multiple reasons. The mask is really, which me and you talk about this all the time, Jordan. The mask constantly switching is something that I can't stand. It kills me because of how awful the mask is. And even the regular mask that they use is, in my opinion, not that good. I hate seeing Michael's eyes. I think, a big thing about Michael is you don't want to see his, don't want to see his eyes and all that stuff. Loomis says he has, the blackest eyes, all this stuff. And you legit see him get like kicked in the nuts and his eyes like cross and like all these things to me, I'm seeing more and more. But with that aside, it does feel like a 90s movie, which doesn't really aggravate me too much because 20 years later, it's supposed to be set in, late 90s. The soundtrack, I like the Halloween score, but other than that, it does kind of have that Scream-ish feel to it. The atmosphere doesn't really feel too much like a Halloween movie in a way. The opening does. The parts, actually not in California, it does feel like Halloween, but once you get over there to where, Laurie's living at, it just doesn't have that feel, that great October, autumn, fall feel. But it does have, decent suspense, has some decent kills. My favorite part of it is the portrayal of Laurie Strode from Jamie Lee Curtis. I think it's a very strong performance. It feels more realistic, more natural than, 2018 and then Halloween Kills. And the ending of the movie, even though I don't like how Michael looks too much in this one, he's kind of played okay-ish, but the ending, battle between him and Laurie, where she has that axe, she screams, Michael, and you hear an echo and it starts playing the music. I think the last, I guess the third act is just really, really good, and they could have ended the franchise there. So that's why I rank it as high as I do. Is because the
Yeah.
performance by Jamie Lee Curtis and the ending, it still gives me chills to this day. I love that ending. So Halloween H2O, number
All right,
6.
so we went off track with each other's list a little bit, but we're
Mm-hmm.
back on track here. My number 6 is Halloween H2O from '98, directed by Steve Miner. Love Steve Miner. Directed some really good Friday the 13th films, some of my favorite. So like that he directed this one. So like you, when I was a kid, this one was up there in my top. Honestly, it went like the original two, and then this one when I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid. And I still have an affection for this movie, and it's not only nostalgia. You know, we rewatched this one last week or something like that, or maybe I don't even been like, yeah, I think it was last
Yeah.
week. I enjoy the story with this one. I like the direct sequel approach to following Halloween 2, which I feel like is what they should have done with Halloween 2018. You know have Laurie Strode now being Carrie Tate. That makes a little bit more sense to me than fucking Rambo Laurie in 2018. It just does.
Mm-hmm.
She is a woman with demons that she can't really seem to escape. She is an alcoholic, but she is a head. What was she said? It's not. It's head something at a very
Is it
posh private school.
Mistress
But yeah, I think
or
that's what
something
it
like
is.
that?
So I buy her as that Laurie Strode, Carrie Tate, faking her death, doing all this different stuff, which they could have made this. They could have made
Yeah.
4 canon. They could
Yeah.
have done it, but anyway. So she's trying to deal with her demons. I feel like the acting in this one is strong, and not just from Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie Strode. I don't mind the kids in this one. Like I like Josh Hartnett a lot. His fucking hair kills me.
Yeah.
It
His hair
kills
is
my
awful.
entire soul. But the other kids too, like Josh Hartnett's character, which John Tate, and then his friend, and then his girlfriend Michelle Williams. Michelle Williams is a good actress. Then the other, like I like those kids. I think a bug went in my mouth. I like those. I like those kids. They were pretty funny, and I thought it was done really well with those. Um, so see, not only the kill or not only the characters and the kids in it, but also the kills in this one. Although they are sparse and they're kind of here and there when they happen, there's some good fucking ones, dude. The elevator with slamming on the leg scene and then him stabbing her like 30,000 times. Hanging her upside down or hanging her up on like it's like the light thing that when they turn it on, she's like attached to it.
Oh
Also,
yeah.
when he picks Will up as like an homage to kind of like Halloween 2, when he
Halloween
picks
2.
the
Yeah.
nurse up with the scalpel, I liked some of those kills. Thought they were done really well. Um, what I didn't like right out of the gate is that fucking mask, dude. You've already talked about it. The mask switch. They start off with an H6 mask, which they should have used throughout the entirety of the movie. They then move on to another mask. They didn't like that mask, so they made a CGI mask when they did. I don't know if they did reshoots. I think they had to do reshoots without like Josh Hartnett and stuff for some scenes, like when he's in there with the knife and doing all that shit. So like it's a CG mask. It's weird, dude. It's just like it's so noticeable, and it wouldn't be noticeable if it was here and there, planted here or there. But it's every fucking scene. The mask is different after that after that opening. So that's a really really bad flaw. Uh, let's see, got that. I just want to get everything down. It didn't have a fall atmosphere to it at all, which is another thing that's kind of bleak. It's kind of colorless. There's not too much of it, and also it is 90s as hell, which you've already mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Super super 90s. It felt like a Scream movie. I think Kevin Williamson was even uncredited, and he had a part to play in the story, if I'm not mistaken. So like you can definitely tell, dude. It's like Scream all over. The fucking poster art's like
Yeah.
Scream, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's Scream, but it also revitalized Halloween, brought us back to it, bringing in a big name like Jamie Lee Curtis back to the franchise. There we go. Well, there. So also the presence of Donald Pleasance being gone really, really struck this film, and it's the first film that we had without him other than 3, and he passed away. Rest in peace. But his presence is well known, and he's sorely missed in the franchise. I know I love a lot about the movie, but there's things I can't get behind, but I'll always be a fan of it, and I'll always watch it every October. I still enjoy Halloween H2O quite a bit. So that is my number 7. If my nose don't stop itching, I'm gonna cut it the fuck off, dude.
um, yeah,
No, number 7, number 6. My
yeah, I was
bad.
ready to say I'm counting these. All right, so top 5, right?
We're at top 5 now. Yep.
All right, my number 5 is going to be one that I hated as a kid. Watched it. I don't even think I watched it all the way through because I'm like, yeah, no Michael Myers in it. But I've since watched it a few times over the years, and I really like it. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. This one,
I like that 4K. It's sexy, dude.
yeah, here's this. I'll show the disc real quick. Right there.
Oh yeah.
4K.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is actually really cool. It has a really good atmosphere. The score is really good. The concept, I think, is very good. And we watched Halloween 2 last night, and honestly, they could have ended it there. I'm not saying that I wanted them to, but I wish that they would have. I wish we could have the best of both worlds. Have the Myers storyline continue, and then also have horror anthologies. Basically from John Carpenter, Tommy Lee Wallace, everybody that was involved with the first film, making these stories, these horror films set on Halloween, but have different stories, and they can have all these spin-offs. That is a very cool idea. The whole Silver Shamrock, the mask, the whole Stonehenge, the bugs, the spiders, the snakes, all that stuff is very dark, and it's really cool. I like it, actually. I hated it as a kid, but I think it's very awesome now. Tom Atkins, he's the man. There's some really I love when movies have these moments when they're not supposed to be funny, but they are. This one has a lot of those, in my opinion, especially the homeless guy saying, fuck you, Cochran, and all this stuff. And I like whenever he's like, I'm going to get me about a case and a half of Molotov cocktails and burn that son of a bitch to the ground. Like, there's so much of that in this movie, and I love that. It just has a great atmosphere. Very cool concept. I'm surprised it's top 5, really. It's really grown on me over the years, but Halloween 3, Season of the Witch is my number 5.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's awesome. Hell yeah. I love it.
All right. My number 5. Okay. My number 5 is Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. And it's crazy. That's the one I told you earlier. I was like, dude, I changed something up. Let me see. So it's crazy to me to see that the amount of hate this film receives. I've loved this movie since I was a kid. After the miss of 5, I feel like the producer's cut, more so than the theatrical, clears a lot up with what they left off with 5. And after you have 5 films, you're going into a 6th film. You have to do something a little bit different. So to be honest, the Thorne story never bothered me really at all, connecting the lineage to the familial kind of killings and having that reverted back. I didn't care about it when I was a kid. I still don't care about it now. I enjoy it. I enjoy the producer's cut more than I do the theatrical cut, simply because it feels more like a Halloween movie to me. I think it feels a little bit more suspenseful. I think the score is a little bit more on point. I think it explains certain scenes, like the DJ and how he wound up in that van, and everything. Like, it explains so much that I just think the producer's cut's better. So I'll throw that out there. I prefer the producer's cut over the theatrical. I can watch both, but I prefer that one. I like the Strodes in the film, from the douchey husband to I like Deborah. There you go, Deborah. Keep giving her, just slip her into the cash.
Slipping her the cash.
Just give her all her goddamn money. But he's such an asshole, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the deranged little boy, to the wacko brother, all the way to the lead, who I think she does a pretty good job as well. I enjoy Paul Rudd as Tommy Doyle way fucking more than I enjoy Anthony Michael Hall. Way more. And not even just, I think he does a good job acting, but he makes me laugh in a lot of scenes just because it's like inside shit between me and you. Yeah.
Yep.
We get to see Donald Pleasance for the final time. And he's older, he's more somber, and I kind of like that about him. He wants to be done with the boogeyman. He don't even care anymore. He's just done with it. But he can't let it go. And I like to see that final occurrence from him. The kills in both cuts are pretty great, and although although Michael, he's a tad more brutal, he's still like the sneaky kind of stalker that we know and love in this one. And he shows us some of his work when he hangs the DJ up. He does shit like that. So kind of shows us what Kills kind of confirms that he is an artist in his own way. The Mask is a great one as well. Probably one of my favorite out of the franchise, minus the first one and the second one, which they're technically the same mask. So probably my favorite one out of the franchise, to be honest, minus that first one. Mm-hmm. I wish they would have kept that with H2O, dude. I really do. Kept that same mask. It would have made it 10 times better. So, yeah, two things I don't like about the film, and it's not even – it's hard to say there's only two things I dislike about a movie in general. We got a comment here. I don't want to mispronounce your name, but Aaron Gisclair, hopefully that is how you pronounce it. But happy Halloween to you, my friend.
Yeah. Happy Halloween.
You've had a safe and a happy Halloween. Currently talking about Halloween 6. We are on 5, so this is my 5th pick. So yeah, two things I don't like about the film is it's the destruction, it's the uncaring that they have with Daniel Harris's character. Mm-hmm. Well, not even Daniel Harris in the film, but Jamie Lloyd. And they dick Daniel Harris over really fucking bad, and that still doesn't really sit right with me. It kind of stings, and I don't know why they did that. Can you imagine actually having her in here and giving her a more prominent role like they had originally intended to? And then and in both cuts, man, both deaths, one's a little bit more gory, one's kind of silent, but it's like, fuck, man, every time I see her die, regardless of the cut, I'm just like, damn, dude, you just killed a character who was very, very pivotal to the franchise by this point. So that, and I don't like either ending of either film. I prefer the producers a little more, but they are very unsatisfactory. Both of them are. That's the only two things that I dislike about the movie, if I'm being quite honest. But yeah, producer's cut, I like it better. Said that out of the gate. And the film has a very, very fall feel to it as well. So I enjoy that. I find myself watching both cuts every October at least once. I love this movie and always will, so I had to put it at number 5. I wanted to put it, higher, but I wanted to put it at number 5. So that's my number 5.
All right.
Thank you again, Aaron Gisclair, for the comment. Hopefully I spelled that or pronounced that right.
Yeah, hopefully so. My number 4 is going to be Halloween. Curse of Michael Myers. Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, basically all the reasons you just said. I love this movie. It's one that's kind of climbed up the rankings over the years for me. This does get a lot of hate, man. People put this at the main bottom, and I don't understand why. And I'm not trying to hate on, like Halloween Resurrection or even something like Halloween 5. But to me, this right here, the producer's cut, feels like it respects the franchise a lot more than either of those movies, in my opinion. Because you have John and Deborah, which is obviously a nod to, John Carpenter, Deborah Hill. You got, the producer's cut, the score is, to me, it goes Halloween, Halloween 2, and then probably this one. I love the 1 and 4, but I just love the score. It feels like, the classic Halloween score to me. A little different, but it feels closer than a lot of the, later ones. And the kills, I feel like less is more in some regard. I do love the kills in the theatrical cut, but I love the producer's cut, the kills in that. Some of them are tamed down, but I like that because in the original movie, there's not really much gore at all, if hardly any. I mean, Laurie gets, sliced on the shoulder. I don't even think they really show much blood, if any at all. And this right here kind of follows through with that. And, I like that about it. It feels, I'm not saying it's, perfect or anything like that, but I feel like the people that was writing this movie, I think his name is Daniel Farrens, that was one of the writers. He was a huge fan of the franchise, and you can really tell. And it's unfortunate that, people watch the theatrical cut, which I still like. It's not perfect, just like the producer's cut. But they watch it, and they're like, oh, it's terrible. I feel like there is a really good movie in here. I wish they could have ironed it out a little bit more. I wish the Weinsteins wasn't, have their hands in it. And such a bad time on set with people wanting to go, pull one direction, go another direction. I feel like if they just let them do what they wanted to do with this movie originally, like have Danielle Harris in it, have her play a big part, it would have been really good. And I still think it's a good movie. One thing I don't like about it is the fact that you have Michael impregnating Jamie in the producer's cut. I don't understand why you couldn't have, Wynn do it. Terrence Wynn. Michael's bloodline would still be going. Maybe I'm missing something there, but that's something that they could have completely, just kind of scaved over. And what'd he say?
Yeah, bro, you pronounced it right. No problem. I like your vids, man. Jade. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. I'm glad I pronounced it right. I was hoping I didn't butcher that last name, but hopefully I did. And again, hopefully you're having a safe Halloween. I do appreciate that you like the videos, so man, appreciate it. Continue.
All right. Sorry. If they would have had Danielle Harris in this, I hate how they did kill the character of Jamie off. But one thing I had to say is in the producer's cut, at least you get Loomis's reaction. And I love Donald Pleasence in this movie. I feel like it's an underrated performance from him because he's not this over-the-top Loomis like we're used to. And it's cool that he can go from that in the original. He's not as over-the-top, but just the transition from that character from 1, 2, 4, and 5 to this right here, Jamie and Michael were gone for, I think, 6 years. He buried the ghost. He was happily retired, and all this just happens again. And I love that, I love the performance by him. And it's sad that this is his last, movie. Yeah. But I feel like he ended a very strong performance. And a lot of people just write this film off. I feel like there's a lot more to this movie than people give it credit for. One day I'm going to make a video on why I love it. But as of right now, it's my number 4. So
I agree with you, man. I love Halloween 6. I always have. So my number 4, this was a contender. I didn't know if I was going to put this above or below 6, but at the end of the day, I had to put it a little bit above it, and it is Halloween 3 from 1982, directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. Now, if you asked me this when I was a kid, if this would be at my number 4 spot in my Halloween franchise ranking, I would have laughed in your face pretty hysterically, to be honest, because I hated this movie. Wouldn't even give it a chance when I was a kid. Despise was a light word. There was no Michael Myers in it, like you stated. Like, why would I watch it? Why do I give a shit about that movie? But now as an adult, I watch this to start my October, and I watch this to end my October. I adore this movie, man. I love everything from the plot, from Colin O'Cochran to eliminate every kid on the planet, basically. To the badassery of Tom Atkins banging Ellie Greenbridge in the hotel room with his fucking real life wife, acting in the next room. He turns always like, you hear that, or whatever. Or she goes, do you hear that? He's like, who cares, or whatever. She's fucking died in the next room because the pin goes off. I love the atmosphere most of all, I think. And honestly, it's downright spooky from the mood to the plot. I think the fact that Michael isn't in this film, other than the bar scene, really adds a lot to it, to be honest. It makes sense for the anthology thing that they were kind of going for, that I've heard that they were going for. Some people have disclaimed that and said it's not true, that they didn't have that in mind. But I would have liked an anthology. I would have liked to see what John Carpenter did with Part 4. Some people have said it was supposed to be a ghost story. So I don't know how that would have went, but I think it would have probably went pretty damn good. So yeah, I mean it adds diversity, but it adds love to it as well. The fact that Michael isn't in it. I'm glad that I grew up and I really gave this film a chance, because 10-year-old me would not have. If you asked me 10 years ago, I wouldn't have talked about this movie at all, really. I wouldn't even added it to the ranking even. But we talked about this before the ranking, and I was like, yeah, we got to add Halloween 3 because I love it so much. It's a perfect fall film with a mood and score that'll get you geared up for Halloween, no fucking doubt. And, I mean, it's got the breeze in the air, the leaves on the ground, kids carrying bags full of candy, dude. Just hopefully that fucking Stonehenge don't go off, and if it does, you're going to have a real problem on your hands. So, Halloween 3, that's my number 4, man. Had to do it. I had to do it. Michael!
I respect
have you killed again?
Michael! Have you killed
Hawkins.
again? Yes. Has Michael killed again?
What's going on in here? What the
Jeez, they should have hired you. You're doing better impersonation than that one guy. Anyway, top 3. I love all these movies, which I love Halloween 6 as well. These top 4, even I'd say top 5. I love these movies. They're top of the top tier. Number 3 for me is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. The Mask, I'll just say right out of the gate, it's not one of my favorites. It's not awful. I don't hate it as much as most people. And, the look of Michael, I didn't mention it in Halloween 6. I love the look of, Michael in that movie. But the actor that portrayed Michael, George P. Wilbur, I really like him. He's one of my favorite Michaels. And in this movie, Michael does not play around. He's very vicious. He's killing people left and right. There's even a scene, the back of the truck. He kills all the, kills the lynch mob pretty much, one by one. Does that to that guy's throat. Absolutely annihilating people. And it's cool to have Michael back, even though I love Season of the Witch. It's really cool to see Michael back. You get introduced to Jamie Lloyd, played by Danielle Harris, which we figure out that, she is the daughter of Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode has died in a car wreck. And, you get Rachel, which is another really good character. They kind of screwed her over in 5, but I really love her in this movie. The dynamic between her and Jamie, I love. You got Donald Pleasance coming back, Dr. Loomis with the egg on the side of his face. I love his performance in this movie. I could quote it for hours. Probably not hours, but for a very long time. I love this movie. It has a great atmosphere. The score, I think, is pretty good. I like the Halloween theme. It's to me, a fast-paced Halloween film. Very energetic, and, I just love it from start to finish. The ending is really good. And this franchise has that problem. Even the Halloween 6 ending, the producer's cut, it kind of goes nowhere. This ending goes nowhere, but it is a good one. It's very shocking. I feel like this movie kind of, I don't know, it got Michael right. I wish they had a better mask. If they had a better mask, I think a lot more people would hold this in higher regard. It's just one of my favorites. I grew up watching it. I love this movie. There's probably never a time that if somebody asked me, hey, you want to watch Halloween 4? 9 times out of 10, I'm watching it because I love it.
Hey, man, you want to watch Halloween 4? Oh,
yeah, let's do it right now. Number 3.
All right, my number 3. First thing I want to say, okay, is Sheriff, what in the hell is going on? Who is that? It was Michael Myers. You son of a bitch! You created a lynch mob. You haven't got it. My number 3 is Halloween 4 from '88. I think I was born loving this movie, dude. Honestly, there is not a time in 24 years that I haven't. I haven't loved it. Given the response to Halloween 3, obviously they had to bring Michael Myers back to the screen. And I think they did it in a pretty tasteful and creative way. They had the impossible task to have him out there slashing once again because they knew they needed to make money. You had Nightmare, which at this point, Nightmare, the original came out in '84, so it was some sequels deep at this point as well. You had Friday the 13th, which was almost at its close, to be honest, by '88. I mean, it had some more films. It had some pretty shitty movies coming up, but Seven's. But you know what I mean? It had some pretty rough.
Yeah, it had some doozies coming up after that.
But it's they had to get back in the game, man. They had to bring Michael Myers back, and I think they nailed it, man. For the most part with this sequel, there's not a lot bad that I have to say about it. I love Jamie Lloyd and her adoptive sister. I love Rachel Crothers. She does a really good job. I love the town of Haddonfield. From the opening shot, it puts a smile on my face, dude. It just gets me fucking set up. It gets me pumped for Halloween. And out of all of them, I don't know, man. I want to say this has the greatest fall atmosphere out of all of them, but I think it might very well have it. So it puts a smile on my face, man. And I love Dr. Loomis and how I've said this earlier, but in this one, he's still kind of done with the bullshit. But he's not willing to, cookie woman, get a fucking girl, little girl by the shoulders. He's not to that point quite yet. I think the ending kind of solidifies, like, all right, man, I'm done with this shit.
Dude, the ending is meme worthy with him. I love it.
It really, there's been plenty of memes with it. But yeah, I feel like he has nothing to lose anymore. I love the scene with him and the drifter. You know, I
Oh
love that.
yeah,
You know,
River and Peace Sayer.
you're hunting it, ain't you?
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
hunting.
yeah.
Oh, you're a
I seen
pilgrim,
that
all
on
right.
your face. Yeah.
Back there in the dust.
Beautiful, beautiful river. He's supposed to do.
Dr. Lewis smiles and takes a swig.
Yeah, takes a drink out of the flask, dude. Like, it's just such a great movie from top to bottom. The pacing is spot on. The script is very well written. The characters, you either really like them or you really dislike them. But most of them I enjoy. Uh, I love it from start to finish. And the ending has to be one of the most shocking endings out of the entire franchise, dude. I can only imagine being in a theater in '88, sitting there. You get to the ending, it's all done. We're gonna go home, and you see this shit. You see what Jamie Lloyd has done, and that no, you get pulls the fucking revolver out, dude. Like I can just, I would have probably my mouth would have been dropped over if I'd been there. Like, oh my god, dude, seeing that in theater. One of the only things about this film I can think of that I don't like, and I will comment on because you've already done it, is the mask. But having said that, I don't like the mask very much. It's not the worst out of the franchise.
No.
Five's mask is fucking horrendous.
Mhm.
The remake masks I think are bad too. I don't like either of those. Resurrection mask I think is bad as well. I don't like it. So it's not the worst. It does feel kind of like a dime store kind of Michael.
Mhm.
But if you put that aside, he is brutal in the movie. He fucks Brady up, dude. Like, God, dude, you can hear the crack,
Yep.
and it cracks and closes in, fucks him up, kills Brutal. Lynch mob takes him out one by one. You've already talked about that, so I won't go back over everything you said. I love Halloween 4, man. I had to commit at number 3. There was not a doubt in my mind. This is where this stood. Yeah, I adore this one. It's a must watch every Halloween for me. So I'm gonna be watching it tonight. You're watching it with me. You already said you was. So,
all right, man.
Halloween 4.
All right. Number 2. What could this be?
Oh, I don't know, man.
Halloween 2,
Say
1981. No Rob Zombie here. Just Bud and Jimmy. Halloween 2. If I get it right there. I love this movie. I know a lot of people, as of lately, and I totally get it. Everybody has an opinion. I definitely respect it. Just like I said before, no list is the right list. Everybody's list is their own, and that's
True.
it. It's simply just an opinion. But for me, I love this movie. When I watch Halloween, I immediately pop this in and followed up with Halloween 2. It feels like a continuation of the night he came home. It's more of the night he came home, and I love it. I love Dick Warlock playing the role of the Shape, Michael Myers. I know a lot of people give him and the appearance of Myers a lot of crap, but I feel like the mask isn't as good as the original, but it's still not bad at all. It's stretched out a little bit because of his head's a lot different, a lot bigger than Nick Castle's. But I love the wear and tear on the mask, because in the scenes in the hospital where it's darkly lit, I feel like it adds to it. I don't really think it takes away from it. So I've never had a problem with the look of Michael or the portrayal of Michael in this movie. I love, I mean, there's so much I love about the movie. The theme, the opening, Ben Tramer. I mean, there's a lot to love about this movie. And Michael,
is it him or not?
Dr. Loomis, just like this right here. Oh God. Michael's on a rampage. It's a lot more gorier. But in that way, it does. It doesn't feel exactly like the same night. I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, oh, you could shoot. Feels like these movies were shot back to back. There are a few differences, obviously. Donald Pleasance, he looks different to me. Maybe he's getting a little bit more weight or something. Laurie, or Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie has that wig. But overall, I love how it picks up immediately after the original, and it just follows through with that story. The sibling storyline, I have never minded. I don't know why people, and again, it's your opinion. You have a right to have it, but people just blow it out of proportion that it is the most stupidest thing ever just because John Carpenter said that, yeah, that was stupid, I was drunk. That made it unique to me, that they were related, and it didn't explain Michael's power. Yes, it gave him motivation, and he don't really need one, exactly, but it doesn't. It's not Rob Zombie's Halloween. It doesn't strip away everything about Michael. It gives you a little bit, and then it ends pretty much the story. It's supposed to be the end, so I'm okay with them giving you hey, they're siblings, they're related. That's why he's coming after her. If this was supposed to be a 2-film thing, you know what I mean? You honestly could have just had no sequels to it, because the original ending, to the original movie is perfect. It's chilling, but I always follow through with, watching the original and then watching this and then kind of ending it there. You can watch 4, 5, and 6. I do like that. But at the same time, you can just watch Halloween and Halloween 2. Have you just one big movie. It's a satisfying ending. And it's honestly one of my favorite horror sequels of all time. So, yeah. Number 2 is Halloween 2.
All right, my number 2, and I just want to say before I start this one, I shot him 6 times. 6 times. He's not human. Halloween 2, 1981. I'm going to try not to rehash over everything that you said. I just want to say this is the best sequel in the franchise, I think, in my opinion. This is the night that he came home. And as a kid, I watched this right after Halloween, and I still do that till this day. The most dividing thing in this film, which we've talked about, it seems to be now that we've got the new movies and everybody's, got a hard on for those, that the brother and sister angle, which in my life when I was a kid, they were just brother and sister. I just knew that. You know what I mean? It was kind of like
Nobody
that
had a
was
problem
almost,
with it.
no, I knew that almost before like knowing the franchise fully itself. It's like that's his sister, and it was a familial motivation. That's what it was, and that's not to say that I don't like or love the intent behind the first film, but I also love the brother and sister angle. I always have. I love the shots, the score, the acting from Donald Pleasance, Dr. Loomis, to Bud singing "Amazing Grace." Come sit on my face. Don't make me cry. I
I
need your
need your
pie.
pie.
Love that. Love Bud in there.
Kills.
Michael's brutality in the film is amped. The kills are fucking awesome. It's not amped to like an unrealistic fucking like being brutal, like stabbing 13 knives in somebody's back. But it is amped to the fact where like I love the death scene with the chick in the hot tub, dude. Wow. Just fucking rips her face off, dude, putting her in that boiling water. It's just crazy. Love that kill. Love when he raises the nurse up with the scalpel.
And the hammer to the security
The
guard.
hammer. Oh, shit, yeah.
He uses all kinds of weapons.
Yeah, he does. And I love that. But they really felt like they had to compete with other franchises at the time. I mean, this is 81, so this is the hype of the slasher craze. So they feel like they had to do it a little bit different. It wasn't just going to be this suspenseful thriller, which is kind of what the original was and what the original's intent was. It wasn't a slasher. I think if you talk to John Carpenter, he wouldn't say I was making a slasher film because the term really at the time didn't exist in 78. So that would come much later. But yeah, so I love the hospital setting as well, even though it does feel a tad empty at times. I'll say that, but I do love the hospital setting. Also, to me, you can notice certain things like Jamie Lee Curtis's wig, which we've talked about. I can notice it a little bit now, just because it just the hair don't seem fully natural. I don't know what it is.
It's almost a different color.
I don't know. So I can notice that. You can definitely tell it's not on the same night, but as far as recreating, it's pretty fucking close.
Yeah.
You could watch it. And it's other than a few nitpicks and flaws here and there with some of the time that it was shot in, it's pretty seamless, dude. It really is. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely adore this movie. It's hard to think that a 6-pack of beers, some cigarette smoke, and a typewriter with no clue where the fuck you're going with this series because you have to write it can lead to this. Can lead to this franchise, to what it's became, unintentionally what it's became. And this film and the original itself, it kind of almost feels like a Twilight Zone type episode where it does feel bottled off. It does end here. It ends after the hospital is ablaze and after Michael's land. It ends there, in my opinion. So I agree with that. I don't know. To me, it's not only... I would say it's one of the greatest horror sequels of all time, in my opinion. I love it. I always will. That's Halloween 2. So, yeah, Halloween 2 from 81. Rick Rosenthal, what the fuck were you doing with Resurrection, bro?
What's up? John Carpenter behind him on that one. Having helping him a little bit. All right, so number 1 is going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween remake. So I'm joking. Millen be number 1, and it is the immortal classic Halloween from 1978. So I don't know if I really can add anything new to the conversation about why this is, the best in the series, in my opinion. There's just so much love about this movie. Obviously, I've said this in my other ranking and even in my review of Halloween. It's not gonna be for everyone. You know, I can understand that some people may enjoy 4 or some of the other ones that are more well paced and not about absolute suspense, especially younger people. But if you love, slow burn movies and you can wait for that payoff, this is a very, very effective horror film. It's more about building suspense, about atmosphere than it is about kills. John Carpenter knew exactly what he was doing. And in my opinion, he created one of the greatest horror films of all time and one of the greatest horror icons of all times with Michael Myers. And it's crazy the fact that, this mask was, a last second thing, and the way that they created it and, and just listen to all that, it's crazy because the look, I don't think that Michael has ever looked and will ever look better, in my opinion, than in this movie. It's just such an iconic look. I love the original, Shatner mask. Dr. Loomis, I love him in the movie. Laurie Strode's an awesome final girl. I don't know if I would say like she's my favorite final girl, but she's a very good one. You got Tommy, Lindsay. You got obviously Annie. Um, what's the other chick's name? Linda.
Linda.
Mm-hmm.
Linda.
You get their deaths. I love the kills, even though they're not overly gory. I love the way that Michael, he's very creative. He's very artistic with his kills. He kills Bob. You get. I love the fact whenever I think it's a very underrated moment in the movie where Loomis goes to the graveyard and sees that Judas Tombstone's missing. He came home. Just the way he says that is so chilling, and the way that Loomis knows, and he's trying to warn everybody. This is one thing that irritates me about all these movies, is Loomis has always said since the very beginning, since this movie, he's warned everybody about Michael, and they don't freaking listen.
Never.
Never listen. The ending, man. I'm all over the place, but just the ending is phenomenal. I love the ending. I love it, man. It's just the best in the franchise, in my opinion. Halloween, 1978.
All right, my number 1 is, of course, from 1978, directed by John Carpenter, Halloween. It's no surprise this is my favorite out of the series. It's my favorite horror film of all time. I've stated that numerous times on my channel throughout the duration of my YouTube career. Whatever you want to call it, since I've been on YouTube since I was like 12 years old. I've talked about this film nonstop, talked about it a billion times on Late Night Frights. I'll try not to dwell too long on it. Simplicity leads to creativity at times. And this film is lightning in a bottle that in a lot of ways, a lot of films have tried to redo and tried to kind of like restruck and try to get that same lightning over the years. And it happens very rarely. It does happen, but rarely. This is the essence of suspense. Boogeyman stalking babysitters. That was the original pitch for this movie. You give John Carpenter and Deborah Hill the reins, and this film has turned into a classic. I love the story of Michael Myers killing his sister for no real reason on Halloween. I love the acting from everyone involved. That's from veteran actor Donald Pleasance to a new actress, Jamie Lee Curtis, all the way down to a totally underrated actress, PJ Soles. From its shots, its heart-pumping score, thanks to John Carpenter, which you can't really get no better than that fucking score, dude. Mm-hmm. It's just... And apparently he made the entire score, the entire theme for the film in like 3 days, apparently. Wow. Which is, I remember when we watched that thing, so they talked about that, which is crazy. It's effects, and I don't mean practical effects. I mean its effects and use of lighting with the shape, how it's lit, how he comes out of the darkness into the light. Mm-hmm. It shows him, and it makes it more horrifying than it would be in any other horror film. The mask itself, that was a fluke gone right, thanks to Tommy Lee Wallace and William Shatner's face, I guess you could say. This is not only a staple in horror history, but a staple in cinematography, a staple in film history, period. I love this movie to death, and it's Halloween, of course. And it's Halloween right now, and everyone is entitled to one good scare. So that is Halloween.
Beautiful.
So that is our ranking. Agree with it, disagree with it. Hopefully you liked the video. We did this in about an hour and a half, so not too bad. We breezed through those kind of quickly. There's a lot to say about the franchise. but I know we're getting cold out here outside, so I'm not going to say too much more about it. Hopefully, everybody has enjoyed it. Hopefully, everybody has had a spooky but a safe Halloween. A happy Halloween. Has watched plenty of horror films and got tons of candy. So, yeah, Chris, any final things before we end this stream? We'll try to do that an hour and 25.
All right. Yeah. I love the Halloween franchise, even though it's scattered across. A lot of it doesn't make sense, multiple timelines. I love the series. So I'm just glad to be a part of the stream, and happy Halloween to everybody out there.
Absolutely. Happy Halloween, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm the Jay Sloan. This is Chris Brock. Please check out his channel as well. Comment and subscribe. And as always, guys, keep it horror. Peace. Michael!
Did he kill again? God damn you, Mike!
Hawkins! What's happened?
6 bodies, Sheriff!
That's what I've seen from here.